It is car 959 on the street, on the air. I don't think I should give you the Nokia G20 2,500 rands money today because Mazwane looks amazing in a traditional regalia. I actually feel naked. I feel like I'm underdressed for the occasion. Mangetho muhle.
Ngiyabonga. Ngi-prepared for ilanga lakusasa. So liqala namhlanje.
Ngiyabona nama braids walahlelele wathi ngikhiphi afro.
Yebo.
Sisirita kunjani?
Ngiyaphila kunjani?
Hey. Mina mangukubona phela kuba la emlonyeni manje hey. Ngizogwinya amathi ngizawuthini?
Until 11 ngithe abakulethele.
Ayi wena.
Hayi impela.
Ngiyahla ngo11
nje.
Hey, I'm hanging out with Rita Zwane. She has a book out called Conquering the Poverty of the Mind, Mazwane's Story. And she's my guest today. She has been here with Stevie B. She has been here on our business shows. And today it's about the journey. And most importantly, making heritage a success. Chapter 8, I think, in the book, you speak about how you packaged heritage. You sold heritage.
Yes.
I think let's start there. Why? You were poor. From Umlazi.
Yes.
Of all the places, you didn't stick to Umlazi. Waza eGoli. Why?
Okay. Obviously from Emnganeni, there was this thing in me, one day I'll run my own business. Yeah. Even when I was 10, 11, moving around Umlazi, finding anything to sell.
Okay.
So yes, coming to Johannesburg, for me, it was more like looking for greener pastures.
Yes.
Yeah, like many other people that come from the rest of the continent.
Yeah.
But asking about heritage, getting here in Joburg and start packaging heritage.
Yes.
In fact, Tibos, this is the 19th year of Imbizo Shisanyama celebrating Heritage Day.
Happy 19 years.
Thank you. For me, after starting the concept of Shisanyama, in fact, the entire subsector of Shisanyama was founded by Mazwane.
Yeah.
So I had to...
container.
So I had
Back in 1999.
1997, yes.
1997.
Yes.
The meeting place.
Yes. So I had to package it. But first, it was more about selling fleece. Until I moved to the street corner in Ebony Park.
Yes.
Those yellow containers.
Yes.
Many people know those yellow containers.
Yes.
And that year, because the space was bigger, in 2002, come September. In fact, even before that, I could see in Gauteng that come September, Heritage Day, not much happens. And Mina coming from KZN, knowing that the Heritage Day was previously known as Shaga's Day.
Yes.
So that day was celebrated so much. So in 2002, when there was a space there, I thought to myself, this is my opportunity.
Wow.
Let me get people from hostels. I went to hostels.
Okay.
Oh yes, I went to hostels.
Njani umfazi?
Kahle nje ngangena nje futhi ngangena ngifaka irigere yakaZulu. I-traditional attire yami.
Okay.
So mangena nje bathi ubuyaphi? Ngathi hayi mina ke ngizalwa uNtsimbi kayiGobi eJalimani. Ngizalwa uGudukazi olala Mbijani. Ngibuye eNzansi eThekwini. Sagida ke hostel nezinsizwa. So then ke ngaba invite ukuthi the following week ngicela nize secondary sise Heritage Day ningeza yini. Yayiqalwe groundini phansi emacontaineni kugidwa. From that year yakhula. But one thing kumina why I packaged it. I packaged it because when I started to Shisanyama, I had a vision, a crystal clear vision, Tibos. I knew that I wanted us to celebrate our African lifestyle, culture, and heritage. I knew that Shisanyama has to be about our identity as Africans.
Yes.
And it can't be just about food only. It is part of our identity.
Yes.
But it's not exactly who we are. Hence, National Pride Day.
Yes.
Because there must be form of some activism in you.
Yes.
If you start something new. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, so National Heritage Day. And I was thinking that it's time that we keep pushing the meaning behind Heritage Day.
Yes.
Otherwise, our generation, the next generation that will come, will slowly lose what was the exact meaning of Heritage Day.
But
where it
busy
comes
Pride
from.
Day.
But Pride Day. So for me, to package that, in 2008, from moving from the containers after building Imbizo corner.
Yes.
Because at the beginning, it was more Zulus and Xhosas.
Yes.
I remember there were times when patrons were asking me when we had the containers to say, is this a Zulu festival or what, Mazwane?
Yes. The meat eaters, they were united.
You know, but 2008, because then it was a big structure, come to 24th of September, I got a shock. I started to understand, you know, the traditional way of amapedi, amatsonga. And then I saw when we were playing that kind of music,
yes,
how people were coming together and they were celebrating. And I was thinking, you know, in chapter 11, I think it's chapter 11, to say, wow, this is what I wanted to achieve. Gauteng is actually a melting pot of culture.
Oh, yeah.
And I can actually, that's the vision now, I can actually look at Gauteng and make July handicap. You know, Heritage Day be July handicap was Gauteng.
That's right.
And make Umakufe be Heritage Day yase Gauteng.
That's right.
And then all what I'm talking about to you now, Tibos, it's documented. I documented, you know, this business plan, put it aside. And say, from now on, we're going to make sure Heritage Day, it talks about us. Imbizo is built, the foundation of Imbizo on celebrating culture.
That's amazing. And you used food because nothing unites us more than food. And not only that, music as well.
Yes.
Take me back to 1997. Here you are, finding the container. Where do you even begin? Who's your first client? Are you going to the taxi rank? Because it's important. Why I'm asking this question is when you hand over the legacy Imbizo,
yes,
the formula is how you started.
Yes.
Because I see the corner shop. The corner shop stands because the owner understands the community. That's why there's a black book whereby Palisa. When you come with your MBA, you're like, hi, I'm not going to have a ledger here. Palisa magama ukuthi Rita uthathe insipho uthi uzobhatala after umdende. Yet that's the formula. Right? So what was your formula?
Well, for me, if I take you back, Tibos, the minute I put that container, especially in Ebony Park, the yellow containers, I was surprised that there were shops that were selling meat, but we had already made a name of quality of meat. Because people that were living Ebony, they were walking across the airport, going to Ivory Park in that small container.
Yes.
The only reason they told me they were going there because they knew that they could get quality meat.
Yes.
By the time I got to Ebony, it was simple to get a market, but the positioning was also best, if I may put it that way, because cars that were driving past, they could just see the smoke. Something is happening. And Mina, when I saw those cars parking there, eat and, you know, talk with friends. And then I thought, you know what, this is an opportunity to introduce the car wash. Because even the ecosystem, I package even the ecosystem of Shisanyama.
Okay.
So my formula was to make sure that at least I open that shop, I close that shop. Because I need to know what is happening in the morning. I need to know what is happening in the afternoon. My formula was more, I was younger then. I was able to put more hours, you know, working 12 hours a day. In my book, I do share that for the first 10 years, I did not have more than 10 days to myself. You know,
yes.
If I go home, it's because I'm going on Thursday or Friday, there's a funeral, but in the afternoon, I must fly back. The only time that I took at least 7 days, it was, you know, I think it was 6 years of starting a business. So the formula is just to give it your all. But number one, have a crystal clear vision. Be passionate about it. And have courage. That drive, you need it. Especially when you don't buy something that has been packaged by someone else. You know, maybe you buy a franchise. It's not a franchise. You starting this, you want to spearhead it. You know, so it's yours. The vision is in your head. So the minute you take 2 weeks, a month, you're not there, it can easily go to another direction because you have a roadmap, and it's your roadmap.
meeting place, the container itself. By the way, if you just tuned in, I'm talking to Rita Zwane, the founder, the visionary behind Imbizo, aka Busy Corner. When you are all alone in doing this, do you have support? Who's helping Rita Zwane to make sure that this container operates? In other words, who's going to the market to buy the meat and so on and so forth?
Okay. The beauty here with that one, I would get deliveries. You know, I would then phone, they cut the meat. But right at the beginning,
Yes.
I was using my van, my car, the Golf.
Yeah.
I used it as a panel van.
Yes.
And that's that car I had bought when I was still waitressing.
Yes. Oh, you were a waitress?
I was waitressing
Where?
at many different restaurants when I was younger, you know,
Yes.
22, 23,
Yes.
in Gauteng, you know, trying to supplement the income.
Yes.
So, yeah, Egyptian restaurants, you name them.
Yes.
Some of them, you know, I worked for 3 days and I was fired because I didn't even understand how to take liquor orders, mixing, abo whiskey.
And it's part of your training.
But it's part of my training, eh?
So you bought this car, you're
Yes.
using it now to get you the things you need for the container.
Yes, as for the vegetables, of course, because when it started, it was more like a convenience shop in a container. Obviously, I will have to go and make sure that by Wednesday, everything is done, is finished. Thursday, if there are any other, you know, items that I did not see, at least I can top up. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you are there, you know, to see your vision.
From what time?
From when you open, you know, from 8 to 10 in the evening. And then when you move to Busy Corner, that's when again it was until 2. But that time, 2 a.m. over the weekend. But that time, I was already making money. So I could afford to buy skills. I began to get a bookkeeper, you know, HR office.
Yes.
And I was not worried about that side of the business, the admin side of the business.
You were more
Meaning
concerned
I was
about just the service.
Pushing the service, making sure the customer is happy, making sure the customer comes back. But you asked a very important question. Who was there to support you?
Thank you.
Family, they were there. I mean, my son, who is now...
Senzo!
In fact, I'm a granddaughter. I'm a grandmother. My son always says, Mazwane, you tell anyone who cares to listen.
Congratulations.
But when he was younger, you know, about 8, 10 years old, he was already in there. He was already selling together with me. School holidays, he will come. You know, like what Indians do with their kids. You go and you buy fast food, you know. You find them there.
Yes.
And I was thinking that these are some of the cultures that it's very important to cultivate to our generation so that one does not die and the business dies as well. Because you did not do that when they were younger.
But Senzo wanted to be a pilot.
He could have been a medical doctor. Because with his results when he finished matric, he had so many choices. He was one of the top 10, you know, in KZN.
Why vibrate the phone now? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he made a conscious decision to say he wanted to do business because he wanted to carry the legacy. So the family is important because without them, you know, being a mother, Tibos.
Single mother.
Single mother for that matter. Yes, thank you for reminding me, Tibos.
Askis.
Okay. Yeah, Colin.
I feel bad now. Sorry.
Yeah. You know.
Power to you though.
Yeah. I receive Ngiyabonga.
Bogot.
So you can imagine how difficult it is as a single mother. You know, you've got kids to raise, you've got a business to look after, because your business is like your other child. And Usenzo used to say to me, hey, computer Busy Corner is my sibling. Because, you know, it's like,
of course.
Which is the reason why Mayo, when the business came back and said, you know what, Mazwane, I want you to now take it easy. Because everything that you've been doing for all the years, it's time to document it. Because there's so much that is sitting in your head. You know, for an example, like the supply chain.
Yes.
The supply chain, you know, when you look at Shisanyama, it's easy to just look at Shisanyama and think of meat and booze.
Yes.
And yet, if you look at agriculture, you know, you look at feedlots, you look at logistics that is involved there. You know, you go down, you look at packaging. It's all Shisanyama, distributions. Oh, mama that are making chakalaka and dumpling in their houses. if there could be just a warehouse with all the equipment, so many products that can be retailed. And I've documented all this because for me, it was more about what legacy are we going to leave for the generations to come, Tina, as today's mothers or parents.
If you've been to Busy Corner, you know what's happening right now. People are dancing. Others, their eyes are, hooked and locked to a screen because there's a soccer match playing. But let me tell you, food, drinks flowing. That's why we call it Imbizo. Hanging out with Rita Zwane, car 959 on the street, on the air. This is the pride of Tembisa. It's a place that we all know, that we even give directions by. No, yeah. Then you know. When you're a landmark, no, Shem, you've done it. Why Joe Mafela, Shebeles?
Yeah, all right, Joe Mafela, Shebeleza, yes. Must package. I'm talking about packaging.
Yes.
I knew we were going to promote everything about African culture.
Yeah.
Music forms part of that.
Oh, yeah.
And gangi ba selective. But ngesikhathi sifaka uJoe Mafela, sifaka uShebeleza, yo kwakusukuma wonke umuntu.
Yeah.
Ame ngeenyawo.
Yeah.
Ngibona ukuthi hayibo. Baze bayireceive kamnandi lengoma.
Yes.
And then I started checking other with about DJ bethu.
Yes.
At some point they would say, a person who's compiling the playlist here, it's Mazwane, those years ago.
Yeah.
And I would look at them, when some customers come and they want the music for the younger generation.
Yeah. Yes.
And yet I had made the segment clear.
Yes.
That this is the market I'm looking for.
Yes.
So when they ask for music and they can't play it because they were younger,
yeah,
they would say, it's Mazwane who's putting the playlist together.
Yes.
But from that point, I started asking our patrons. And then there's another part, making patrons being part of what you are building. I started asking them, what music do you actually enjoy? All other music here, like Home Tukuti, they started coming in. If Umaskandi, then abo Benny Mayingane.
Yes.
Then
the president.
Yes, Makshau Benny Mayingane. You would see Amatsonga standing up, Ushabo pleasure. Music wama pedi.
Yes.
I ended up even knowing how to perform dance music. Yebo. Sise Africa. But Lega Joe, it's not in isolation. It was more about playing music for the market that we wanted. And as soon as they received that music, they started telling us, giving us songs that we must play.
Now, let's move on now to the big question. Will success ever be part of our heritage? You spoke about you writing the book, introducing Senzo to the business quite early. Why? Is this because you want to make sure that what you've built stays on? Should it stay on?
Yes.
Why?
Success has to be part of our heritage, especially now people like us, Mazwane, that grew up mostly in townships, seeing businesses that were doing well. When owners die, the business died as well. And then you keep asking yourself, why is that? Let's put aside what we would normally say in townships, Yeah, there is a snake there was this, and that's why. Let's just leave that, Yeah. But you could see that succession planning was not there. And the kids, were not that much involved in the business. It doesn't matter what business you are in. Now, success can be part of the heritage because we have begun to do that. In 2016, when I handed over to Usenzo to become the managing director of the business, I knew that since he was younger, he's been watching and seeing everything that I've been doing. Remember, we're going back to culture now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, storytelling from one generation to another.
Thank you.
Going back to culture now, where we are not documenting that much, but children are there to see what you are doing.
So you want to tell me when I'm married to Usenzo knew to Boenza Malin?
Yes.
Hi.
He knew when he was still at the university, he was the one who was doing books for Imbizo.
Wow.
Because I was preparing him to come and take over.
You were not worried Guti he'll be lured and tempted because he sees a lot of zeros?
No. He's always been a disciplined young man from the time when he was a child. I remember from Umlas, when children started having cell phones, and some had better cell phones, and you would tell me, in fact, neighbors, why are you having this phone? Because your mom has got money, which is not like, I had. But Usenzo would say, that's my mom's money. I will make mine and buy my cell phone that I want.
Thank you.
And when this Senzo was at school, he was also hustling on the side. There is this story that I love when I went to see Usenzo at Maranhill College.
Yeah.
And then I was asking for Usenzo. They're saying, oh, the one who's selling our cornflakes. Because, he would
No way.
And I thought to myself, no wonder his father delivers cornflakes like almost every week. Because I was wondering, what's happening? Why are you taking so much cornflakes to Senzo at school? And yet, he would put them in a cup and sell to the kids in the morning for breakfast. So the culture was already there, was already cultivated.
Are you confident?
Very.
He has made mistakes after taking over as an MD.
Yes, for sure. And that's the beauty here when we talk about his success and heritage. Because imagine if he was making those mistakes and I am no longer there to guide and mentor. So the time is when you still have all the energy, to stand back, look at what they are doing, keep guiding until you know that now they've got it. Now it's the real legacy that he will pass to the next generation. And when I talk about the legacy in the next generation, Minatibos, it is normally not about my family.
Mm-hmm.
It's a legacy, someone who started the business in the township. We talk about township dreams.
Yes.
We talk about products that came from the township.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about other service providers that you bring into this thing that you've started.
Okay.
And that they will be building legacies for their children as well. When we went to ads, we were talking about, when you say Ibambilapo, we were talking about exactly that. What legacy are we going to leave for the next generation to come? Mm-hmm. Because you can build a business and create employment. We all know that's superficial. It gives you security. But the minute you pass on a legacy of how to run the business, there it's no longer just an employment. It's economic freedom. It's economic emancipation, because that will be passed on from one generation to another.
How do you then pass on your knowledge then to your suppliers? Because they also need to have the same vision.
Oh, yes. Talking about suppliers, first, it's the relationship that you build with them. To understand you build the kind of business that you are in. If we were to talk about mine, which is Shisanyama, you have suppliers that at a certain time, they know they must deliver. If they don't deliver, what it means. And talking about suppliers again, we get to a point when COVID hit.
Yes.
When COVID was real.
Yes.
I can tell you now, were it not before those suppliers and service providers and the relationships we've built over 20 years, I can tell you, Tibos, would probably be one of those that would have closed. Because our business model was never crafted around, takeaways. It's crafted around the lifestyle. And if it's takeaway, you need about 80 square meters or 120 square meters. How then do you cover cost of a business that is about 1,000 square meters when you are then going to just sell takeaway, which is food? And when there is no liquor, it means margins are so low. Because all what liquor does increases the margin in a restaurant. So you are able to sustain that business. So were it not be for them that were patient enough with people like Mazwane. And when I talk about that relationship of 80% of your business is about relationships and it's only 20%, because they will sit and look, we've come far with this person. You know what? We all thought it's going to be 3 months, 6 months, a year down the line. But we can still try to carry to carry the business whilst we are peddling. Relationships. I mean, we've moved to the mall of Tembisa now.
Yes.
Tibos.
New York in Tembisa.
That's New York, eh? That is the ultimate expression of the experience.
When you invited me for the launch, I went up to the DJ booth because that's the best view in the house.
Yeah.
And I took pictures. I was like, guys, I can't believe this is in Tembisa. I'm New York in Tembisa.
Yep.
Wow.
And you may ask me, why then? Because there is busy corner.
Yes,
and
and it's thriving.
Yes. And you may ask me why then. But you know when you have a vision, Tibos, that dream that I said, it's crystal clear. And when the opportunity comes, it doesn't just catch you by mistake. It's something that you've been building in your head for so many years. For so many years, I was building in my head that if I get an opportunity to get to the mall, because how Shisanyama is designed, you've got to have a standalone space. Because it's not just about Shisanyama, it must be a car wash, there must be a hair beauty salon. Everything, all the ecosystem around Shisanyama.
Yes.
You can't have that in the mall. But was I surprised by the developers at the mall of Tembisa? The research that they had done on Shisanyama and Mazwane, such that when I got that space, nothing in the world is there. The real, authentic Shisanyama inside the mall, if you get it, where we make calls inside the mall.
It's in there, yes.
It's in there.
You can see it, actually.
The same taste. The taste you have when you're at busy corner, when you're...
I say gas, manje.
No, it's not gas.
Lash.
Yeah, gas, it's gas grill. So now we're talking Shisanyama.
Thank you.
And we're talking how Shisanyama started. Let's go there. How it started. Thousands and thousands years ago.
Yes.
My coach who was in Cape Town last week was telling me that there's something very interesting, Mazwane. Actually, Shisanyama, people were eating raw meat those 1,000 years ago. And as they were sitting around the fire, the meat dropped into the fire.
Yeah.
And then they tasted it. In fact, they ate it because they had to get it from fire. Wow.
What a taste.
It tastes good. That's how Shisanyama started.
Aisha
lenyama. It's one thing that nami coming from KZN, I didn't know that I'll be the one selling that nyama.
I'm hanging out with Rita Zwane, and the book is called Conquering the Poverty of the Mind. What does she mean in that title? That and more after this. It is definitely a big day. As you know it, tomorrow it is Heritage Day, and we're celebrating it with Rita Zwane, the lady who has packaged heritage. And I like what Aaron Moloisi says. He says, this woman has made millions, one boerewors at a time.
No.
I thought that I must use. That's for sure.
Patience.
Oh, yeah. One boerewors at a time to build a legacy that will stand the test of time. You look back, 1997 to now, what do you say to the Rita then? Because sometimes we make decisions, and sometimes survival says, that's all you must, do, try and survive. What are you saying to the young Rita?
Yeah. To the young Rita who got into a train coming to Gauteng with only a prayer from her mother, who said, you must remember when you get to Gauteng, I won't be there. I won't see all your moves, but there's a man above that will be seeing everything. And please don't forget to pray. And looking at that Rita today, everything that she had done, risks that she had taken, would still take them. But one thing that I would be cautious of today in business is when you diversify.
Okay.
When you diversify, make sure you understand the space you're getting into. Because Rita, 15, 20 years ago, then who was young, diversified into trucking. By the way, Tibos, I've been into taxi industry as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had Okachibane there.
Yeah. And then what happened with trucking?
I realized that's not my area. Bought trucks and Uafage where they needed them. Kuma logistics at Eben, Kuma Mayene. And it failed badly. I got banned. What lesson did I learn there?
Yeah.
More than being my idea to diversify to that area, it was someone else who was telling me that because you seem to be doing well and you keep saying you want to diversify, how about looking at trucking, because there is business there. It's a lucrative type of business, because many mines were opened around soon after democracy. But the lesson I learned, you know what, let it be your dream, let it be your vision, because I would have been maybe patient if it was mine.
Oh, yeah.
So I learned that. Don't take someone else's roadmap and make it yours. Stick to your lane. Run your race.
The temptation might be there.
The temptation might be there.
But it is not yours.
It's not yours.
Own your story.
That is why right now, with all Shisanyama around, when people tell me about Shisanyama, I would say to them, you have no idea. I smile, because what I see is the vision I had to build something that, you know, an African person can be proud of, an African person can relate to.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's a township a product. It attracts tourists. And when I talk about tourists, sometimes I would talk about Utibos having to live Isab up where or state where he stays.
Yeah.
And say, you know what, today I want to go Kasima.
Yeah.
Enough around here. Go ploma da, you know.
Yeah.
So when I talk about tourists, hence Imbizo corner became a tourist hub. You know, an economic hub at the same time, because it was the busiest corner in Gauteng.
Oh, yeah.
So looking at that, Rita, those are things that when I look at today, and I'm saying, you just need to be careful of what you grab and what you let go. What opportunity that comes and you say, no, thank you.
Mama Rita, this is only just like, I think, part one of many. But we just want to say thank you. You are exactly the reason we should believe in our own dreams and be brave about them.
Yes.
You packaged something that we thought was not packageable. You packaged heritage. And today, we are learning from you in so many ways, from just a simple thing. So sometimes it's not too far-fetched. It's just here. It's right under your nose. Just believe in it. And thank you for also laying the thick foundation so that tomorrow there'll still be Imbizo by passing it on to the next generation. Yes. And also creating an ecosystem, a township dream, to push forward the economic emancipation of our people. And to see a fellow South African woman at that do this. Not only is it heartwarming, but it says to you, wake up, you can. We celebrate you, Ma. And thank you for doing what you do, and we say keep doing it, and may God protect you and keep shining. Siyabule.
Kubonga mina Tibos, ngiyabonga futhi ukunginvite la ku Khaya FM for the third time for the past 10 years.
Awuzweke.
Yeah.
Usazobuya. But mara umcimbi yini phandle kumqombothi?
Oh yes. Ekugcineni phela it's packaging culture.
Thank you.
At the end there must be that umqombothi.